Welcome to Paul Shamplina's Talking Property channel.
I'm with Sean Hooker, head of the Property Redress Scheme. He deals with letting agents on a daily basis. The question is, self-manage or not to self-manage? Using a letting agent. I'm going to ask Sean some quick fire questions. Why should a landlord in 2025 use a letting agent? Sean.
Because being a landlord and renting out property is a 24/7 occupation. And unless you have the time, the dedication, the knowledge and the willpower to get in there and do that for 24/7, then you need support, you need help.
And as a landlord, you know, if you're self-managing and you have to have time, you've got to be up to breast with all the regulation, which is the biggest challenge at the moment. Your compliance officers, your debt collectors, your social workers, your mediator, you'd have all these skill sets. So tell me the top 5 tips a landlord should do in finding the right letting agent for them.
Right, do your homework before. Write out your questions that you want to be answered, okay? There's lots of information out there that you can get about the new legislation and the current existing legislation. Ask the letting agent to answer those questions.
Okay.
If you're not satisfied with the answers to
The
those
knowledge.
questions, then I wouldn't necessarily be using that letting.
And you go on the gut feeling as well. So tell me what other questions, you know, it's head of the Property Redress Scheme, you've got 20,000 members, a landlord's got 1-2 properties, yes, they can be recommended to a letting agent from other landlord, but what questions should they be asking them about their services where they feel right to give the keys over?
So the first thing you do, you have a look at the agreement that you are going to sign up to. And there's a lot of expressions out there that, mean slightly different things to different people. There's
Management agreement.
Some management agreements. So you read full management, platinum, silver, red collect, all of these sort of things that are put in the vernacular of an agent who wants to attract you to their business. So have a very close look at what is contained in what they are promising to do. Because if it's not in there, contractually they won't be obliged to.
But isn't there an argument between let only and full management? There's not a lot of percentage points anyway. Shouldn't landlords nowadays, depending on time, depending on getting the right agent, fully management's got to be the way forward, isn't it?
It's got to be, but it's also the definition of what lettings is, in the basis that at what stage does the letting event end. So one of the things that letting agents are going to do after the new legislation's going to come in, they're going to restructure the way that they charge you.
So they can't do renewal fees?
Well, they can't do renewal fees, and they don't also know how long they're going to keep that.
So will they charge monthly going forward, do you think?
I think a lot of them will look to charge monthly, because if you are asking landlords to find up front large amounts of money,
and you don't know how long the tenant's going to stay for.
And you don't know how long the tenant's going to stay there, you know, that's going to be a model that isn't going to be that attractive to a lot of landlords. Some landlords are quite happy, that's it, that's a one-off payment. It'd be a sizable amount of money, because if the agent's done their job right, your tenant will stay and pay the rent. And that's the only thing you ask of a tenant to do, is to sit in the property, look after it, and make sure it's...
And be respectful and pay the rent on time.
Be respectable and pay your rent.
But other top tips should be, do they belong to a redress scheme, like the Property Redress Scheme?
Well, they've got to be by law to do that.
That's
so you've got to do your basic due diligence, which is they've got to have client money protection.
And what is client money protection?
So that's essentially if they're collecting your rent, for example, or you give them some monies towards a fighting fund, for a repair fund, which will become more common, I think, with the responsibilities. Yeah. If they're holding your money,
and they go
or
bust,
your tenant's money, and they decide to,
misappropriate
it, or they go bust, then this insurance will kick in and help you to.
So your rent's going to be covered. A bit like Abtu if you go on a holiday.
Yeah, 100%.
So also they've got to have professional indemnity insurance. Like you said, look at their terms of business. Look at their reviews, like All Agents or Google reviews. Are they expert in the area, buy to let? Because I think the biggest grumble I get when I speak to landlords about agents, and obviously, you deal with complaints all the time, is they will tell them that They would get them X amount for the property, maybe higher, just to win the instruction. How much do they charge, and how quickly can they rent the property is most probably the quickest thing. But just really with regard to complaints, just ending, you know, you're managing a big team. You know, I don't know how many decisions did we make last year for the property redress scheme?
We deal with between 5,000 and 7,000 inquiries coming through.
Wow.
And
what type of complaints are they?
They're across the whole board, to be fair.
Top three complaints.
Top three complaints would be people still don't understand the legislation on holding deposits.
Yes.
That's at the beginning of the tenancy. It's reactions to repairs, especially ones which involve things like boilers or cookers.
Not carrying out the repairs on time.
Not carrying out the repairs. It's
maybe not passing the rent on.
Passing on the rent.
They hold on to the rent. Yeah.
If they're late or you know a business might be failing if
and they dip in.
They haven't paid you your rent for a couple of months. So those are the sort of things. We got the whole gamut. We've got case studies on our website if you want to look at something.
And of course, letting agents. I mean, I saw a poll that 46% of agents out there still unsure about the Renters' Rights Bill. Don't know enough about it. They need to know their stuff, don't they?
Well, they need to know their stuff, because if they don't know their stuff, how are you going to know your stuff? And so again, it's up to you. If you want to be a full-time professional landlord, you've got to have that level of knowledge. So you would expect that level of knowledge from your agents. When you ask any friends or people that that they've used, you ask them for people. Can you speak to landlords and recommend them? Always ask them the question, because if you ask them, say, what do you think of so and so? Oh, he's all right. He's good. But then you have to ask, have you had anything gone wrong, and how did your agent deal with that when something went wrong?
Brilliant.
Put them under pressure, because bad things don't happen all the time. But when they do, the consequences are what you pay for. So you need to know what will happen in the rare occasion when something goes wrong.
Brilliant.
How will your agent do that?
Sean, fantastic advice. Thank you very much. Paul Shamplina, Talking Property. Give me your comments below, and please subscribe.
Subscribe now to Talking Property.